Hello and welcome. Now today, taste testing soy sauce. Boys, from the offset, what do you already know?
You ferment soybeans, don't you?
There's a light one and there's a dark one.
There's other ones as well.
Medium one?
No, like not related to cut. I think there's other ones as well as light and dark. But I don't know much about where to use what.
In that case, today should be fun. Lift cloche A.
Oh goodness, that's salty.
Oh my goodness, that's salty. Okay, so a brininess, a saltiness. So all of these today are going to be soy sauce, but they all have either specific purposes or a specific unique characteristic about them. This one is a Korean soy sauce for soup.
Ooh.
Interesting. Yeah, it gave me, I didn't want to say it out loud, it was giving me pot noodle vibes.
Oh, I know what you
In
mean.
terms of like, I put it on top of, in a sachet, a pot noodle. It's a bit like whiskey tasting. When you start tasting, I need a benchmark.
You're right, we have skipped past just like maybe a Lee Kum Kee or an Amoy, light and dark soy sauce. These are all going to be slightly more specific.
Okay.
If you lift cloche B, you can see a good application of it.
This is a hot cloche.
Oh,
feel the
yeah.
cloche, feel the cloche.
Hot cloche, baby.
Hot cloche. Chapow.
Oh, okay,
yes.
yeah.
A Korean kimchi jjigae. Much like the one we experienced with Jolly. It's got spam and frankfurters. It's kind of got ramen noodles in there. It's got beans in a hot kimchi broth. This particular soy sauce is typically used to season soups and broth. It's less of the umami fermented funk, and it is higher in salt. So it is more of a seasoning for soup. So when you said it's salty and it's briny, I think that's very fair.
Oh, wow. Refreshingly spicy. Know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I feel like it needs a dab more. Yeah.
Now this soup soy sauce, also known as gukgangjang, is in Korean cuisine. So it is soybean paste mixed with salt and water, and then that is left to ferment, but not for as long as you would ferment perhaps a regular soy sauce.
So what that adds for me is our favourite word, a depth to the broth.
Depth.
So it takes something that is already exciting and delicious and just adds another dimension to it. It's like it's bringing out more of the other flavours rather than adding its own flavour.
In that sense, very much a seasoning. If you look at the bottle, it's a rather large bottle because it has a purpose, but it's relatively basic. It's there to season broths and soups and things rather than a perfect amount for like a dipping soy as a finishing soy.
Seasoning soy.
Seasoning soy.
I thought all soys were seasoning soys, but that makes more sense now.
I don't know if we're starting at a level that Evers is starting at, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
So that large bottle there is £4.99, which makes it 54 pence per 100 ml.
Well, that is very affordable.
That's much cheaper than the soy sauces we get at home, it feels like, just in supermarkets.
Correct. So it is a simpler process. It's the soybean paste, added salt and water, lower, less ferment, and perhaps not the same kind of sun-dried and hand-picked that you might expect from something like Lee Kum Kee.
Great start.
Good start.
Delicious start.
Would you like to try another?
Yes.
Number two, we've left number one for you as a kind of a benchmark.
Yep.
Lift the cloche on A.
Oh, hang on a second.
That's an oil.
That is very, very different.
By looks, I would say it's a sesame oil. An association.
So you've already gone to that sort of nutty brown kind of hue. Have a taste and see how it differs, if at all, from the last one.
Oh my god. We got zingy.
Ooh, that's
very zingy, very...
rich.
It's like almost a sherbety zing.
But it's quite, it's syrupy in a way.
It's a harsher, more acidic saltiness.
Yeah.
So this is Yamashin white soy sauce.
White soy
So
sauce.
this is Japanese, and it is used in a place where you might want, yes, a lighter hue, but also a more mellow kind of flavour. Has almost a natural sweetness to it to balance out with the salty that you'd expect of a soy.
Sipping straight from there, I would not say it's anything sweet.
So I'm getting the sweetness. I've never heard of white soy sauce before. That's brand new on me.
How do you use it?
What a
If you
great
lift
question.
cloche B, it's an example.
Ah,
Okay,
yes.
sashimi.
So yes, something like really fresh seafood, this is sashimi, so that it doesn't overpower, because you've got that slight mellowness coming through with the white soy sauce. Or You can put it into broths that you don't want to colour, like Odon, which is a dish relatively in the north of Japan. It's got daikon and fish cakes and all sorts of lovely things in it. It looks like a lot, but it is such a more mellow flavour and a lighter hue that it doesn't overtake the freshness of the fish. It's just there to amplify.
That's interesting.
It takes the fish to a higher level. It tastes a little bit of soy, but it's not slap you around the face with soy.
Because sometimes when you get the little soy packets with your sushi, chuck it over, it dominates all the flavours because it's such a delicate flavour anyway.
And that's often when they say if you're eating sushi that's got rice with a bit of fish on top, you dip it fish side down so not too much gets absorbed, because if you're not careful, it can overpower. Whereas a white soy sauce for clear broths, savoury baked custards, and things like Odon, so clear broths or sashimi, great options.
John, try this.
Oh yeah, try that.
Yeah, you dip in that, you can't taste the fish. That's really interesting. I've got soy flavoured fish.
Now, we've been lucky enough to have a lot of Japanese food over the years. I don't know if either of you have tried Odon before.
I feel like I have.
Very clear breasts.
I've seen his beard before, but
It's those places where this is iconic and favoured by Japanese chefs. But if you've ever heard people say that soy sauce isn't gluten-free, which seems odd because it's made from soybeans, not wheat, then this is a good example of why, because it's mixed with wheat. So this white soy sauce is made very similarly to a traditional soy sauce, except with a higher proportion of wheat, which means it doesn't have quite such a strong colour, and it is more mellow and almost sweeter in its final finish. And then once it's gone through a fermentation, which is a little bit shorter perhaps than a regular soy, it's then also pressed, and that might be aged depending on the quality.
Ooh, okay, right.
So that bottle is £7.99, which makes it £2.21 per 100 grams. So more than 5 times the price of the previous one.
but doing a very different job,
100%.
being used in very different places.
Especially with that application.
Yeah. Oh, this feels like we're getting deep into soy now, in a way that I didn't know existed.
Would you like to go deeper?
I haven't got a choice, but yes!
Sure.
In the summer, we had our Wild Weekender live show, and it was mega.
Yeah, thousands of you joined us online for what turned out to be the most fun weekend we've ever had.
Fact.
And on the 9th and 10th of December, we're doing it all again, but this time, it's gonna be bigger.
For some reason, we've let Jamie book the accommodation, and it's a really eerie, weird inn.
It looks absolutely fine. It's in the middle of nowhere, and we're gonna put on a whole live-streamed weekend of fun called Snow Way Out. There's going to be an ice bath food challenge in a broken hot tub.
James Cush and I are going head-to-head for the first time ever in a battle.
There's going to be a pass it on with no electricity, except for a small bike generator.
We're going to be doing Christmassy cook-alongs in real time.
There's going to be pub games where we take on you, the audience.
The ultimate festive burger battle.
Reactions to the crazy stuff that you've sent us in the mail.
And our brand new, hilarious, slightly awkward poker face roulette.
And if we can escape the inn, there's going to be an icy-themed Pass It On finale in the elements with 3 chefs, 3 normals, and a butt-ton of snow.
We can't wait for you to join us as you vote, comment, control, and laugh along with us in the most interactive show we've ever done.
As always, you'll be able to watch on demand at a time that suits you for up to 30 days after the event. We can't wait to see you all there.
The plans are mad. Okay, boys, where do we think we might go now? Number 3.
We have to go like deep, rich, indulgent soy, no?
Sure.
Oh, we might be right.
Yeah.
See, right, there's definitely more legs on that soy.
Barry, smell that. We're going
Sorry.
smoked soy.
Smoky soy!
Smoked soy.
Is that a thing? Oh my goodness.
Lick a fire, but the fire tastes of soy. That's the order that you get the flavours in. It's smoky, and then you're left with a really pleasant, unharsh soy sauce.
It's the nicest liquid smoke I've ever tasted. Because liquid smoke is awful.
Yes. It's wood smoked. I feel like it's like oak smoked or something like that.
Yep, this is, you got it spot on, a smoked soy sauce. It is a wood smoked soy sauce. It's cherrywood.
Ooh, right.
So it's a Japanese soy sauce, so also referred to as smoked shoyu or smoked tamari. But basically, think classic soy sauce in its original preparation. So well quality, good source soybeans and that whole usual ferment. And then at the end, when you've got a quality soy sauce, then they smoke it in a controlled environment with cherrywood.
Lovely.
So needless to say, we're not going to be putting it onto delicate fish.
Show me yours.
But one good example is some very, very soft poached eggs. Now, don't get me wrong, it works beautifully in marinades and for glazes on vegetables and perhaps grilled meats. You've got that smoke. But we wanted something here because you can also take basic ingredients like tofu or poached eggs and instantly a little bit of this takes it to a wonderfully elevated level.
So these are like half poached eggs with sesame seeds and a bit of spinach. That's it.
The fact that this option's out there has blown my mind.
Yeah, why have we not done it before?
Relatively one-dimensional as a perfectly cooked egg. You know, it's the richness of an egg, but now add the rich, fermented, smoky notes you get from this soy.
That's so jammy. So suddenly it's working as a seasoning rather than just a punch in the face. You're right, it's delicious liquid smoke. That is wonderful.
Can you imagine a little drizzle of that into
Yeah.
relatively rich scrambled eggs
Ooh.
and some mushrooms on toast for breakfast? And suddenly you've got that application in a more familiar space to us. But in Japan, they use it grilled, so izakaya, think like grilled meat on sticks. So you've got that smokiness, but on marinades and glazes of vegetables and meats. Brilliant.
Soy glazed salmon. Soy glazed salmon on a barbecue.
It tastes less of soy, though.
Yes.
It's more of a smoke and less of soy.
So obviously during the smoking, it absorbs the aromatic compounds you'd expect, that kind of charred wood, cherry, hickory, oak smoke, depending on the woods you use. And you've still got that salty ferment underneath. The bottles are getting smaller, which should be giving you a clue. This particular one costs £16.95. So it's £8.07 per 100 ml. So we're talking 16 times more expensive than the first.
Very different though. The kind of thing where you feel like you'd really need to know what you're doing to be able to use it. But actually,
No.
just put it on eggs.
It does the work for you.
Yeah.
They have already gone to the effort of carefully selecting the soybeans, going through that entire process of making excellent, rich, dark soy in the first place, and then they've added a whole nother dimension with the smoking.
Every now and then we find an ingredient that we all are equally inspired by, and it finds itself appearing in multiple battles.
Exactly.
I've got a funny feeling we'll be seeing a lot more of that moving forward.
That's why I love these videos, because having tasted it, I could buy a bottle of that, knowing it's ridiculously expensive, but a few drops here and there, woo!
Also, I'm guessing it lasts forever.
Pretty much. It's a fermented substance, so it has a long, long shelf life. You know it's not that scary, and a little bit will take you an awful long way in elevating the simplest of dishes from eggs and tofu through to grilled meats and veg. Ready for one more?
Yes!
Absolutely, try and top that.
Last one, lift cloche.
Right, this one has to be thick, indulgent, posh soy. Must be. Yes.
Yeah,
it's
look
thick.
look at the tannins in it.
We don't know what tannins are, do we?
It's the legs on a bottle of wine.
I still.
The tannins aren't the legs. Sorry, I just heard that, I had to correct it.
I'm going to offend a lot of people here. It reminds me a lot of Marmite.
It is quite marmitey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a really dark, sticky substance that's full of umami from yeast. What is soy?
Yeah.
A liquid version of that from a different part of the world with a different yeast and a different ingredient. So this is kamebishi. It is a 20-year aged soy sauce. So absolutely, this is one of the high levels of soy sauce. You're talking like their masters are making soy at the best of time and then they're leaving it to age for an awful long time. We've tried aged balsamics before, lots of obviously naturally aged wines, and obviously there is a cost associated with the aging, but what you also get is a reduction in its consistency and then an intensity of its flavour. It could be paired with lots of things, but one suggestion is white chocolate or vanilla ice cream.
Sorry. This is, you're slagging off Magnums.
No, but at a price level, there is a juxtaposition between A and B.
So I'm guessing.
You got to take the topper first.
Why?
Get more absorption. Otherwise it's
I
gonna
don't
drip at the
want
end.
that much absorption.
Okay.
Because it's so intense.
Worth saying, it's not just for sweet things. So it's a marvel on its own. It can be paired with all sorts of dishes.
Barry, you don't want absorption. Look what. Without absorption, look how much I've got.
I'm doing it.
No, Barry, that's so much. Barry.
No. No.
Brain freeze.
I'm looking for the good bit. It took a long time to get there, but once it kind of melted in, it really does work. You get a kind of salty caramel kind of vibe to it.
So you should still be getting some of those almost smoky flavours from it, but it's not smoked. It's just that it's aged in wooden barrels, so cedar wood. And like when you put wine or whiskey into wooden barrels, you get those kind of charred wood, smoked notes, as well as other things like spice and vanilla that can come from wooden barrels. So a little bit of context to this particular example. Kamibishi is said to be the most expensive soy sauce in the world, but because it's so special, it's worth having some in your pantry just to use on that very, very special occasion.
Of course they'd bloody say that. It's really expensive, but you should definitely have some.
They also tell us it's crafted using time-honoured techniques passed down through 17 generations since 1753. It is created by the Okada family, operating from the same samurai house since that very first generation in 1753. So it is steeped in history, and then they make crafted artisanal soy that they age for 20 years in cedar barrels.
I don't feel like dipping it is the best application. It feels like it needs to be brushed on something. It's so thick, the flavour goes a long way. It needs to be a really, really thin layer on... I'm not going to say ice cream's a good thing. I'm not enjoying this too much. I prefer the ice cream on its own. But on fish, again, I think a really light layer would work nicely.
I think a tiny little bit adds an extra dimension, and I quite like it.
It's intense, it is delicious. With the right application, I'm sure it's amazing. But for how I cook at home, and for what I would like to use, those first two, I find really interesting.
I think that's fair. I mean, they do say more profound and nuanced flavour profile. It's actually because of the method they use. They inoculate the grains on like bamboo trays. The process and the method this family have used has actually been recognised by the Japanese authorities as an intangible folk cultural property. So it's kind of been given a stamp of cultural significance because of the way it's been done.
Well, this feels like it's steeped in tradition, just the packaging alone. Even unravelling it is an occasion. It's like,
Unravelling, what a great word.
here we go, guys. Oh, double wrapped.
The only brewery creating soy sauce, and therefore the aged version as well, in this kind of Japanese recognised method.
It looks incredibly special.
This makes it even more intimidating, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Do you want a price? Or would you like to try and guess?
Let's guess.
£25.
No, 80. I'm going crazy.
That bottle alone is £143. It's £250 per 100 millilitre, 500 times more expensive than that.
You got us to dip magnums into it.
Yeah, funny, right?
My goodness, it is delicious. It's outstanding. But I'm scared of you. I don't know what to do with you.
I think what's fascinating about it is it's an ingredient that, yes, will also have a long shelf life, even though it's already 20 years aged. But I feel like it's a living museum.
That's got to be one of the most expensive things we've ever bought here, in terms of how much you get.
Per 100 millilitres, it's
Yeah.
certainly up there, yeah.
Soy sauce is probably just one of those things that I've never really put much thought into. And actually being able to learn more about them is really exciting. I'd love to find out more.
What about you guys? The beauty is that we've got you guys from all over the world. Which soy sauces do you use? And have you ever tried any of those 4 specific ones? Comment down below.
Surely no one's had this before.
If you've bought a bottle of this and you haven't signed up to,
Would you
Sidekick
like to
or
invest in
live
sorted?
shows or something like that, then what else are you spending your money on?